schizophrenia is a devastating illness, and the person who has been employed or at university and expecting a good job is very unlikely to get that good job or to get back to full-time employment. So most patients with schizophrenia, unfortunately, are in much lower level jobs or in voluntary work. So there's a massive financial loss to the patient which lasts throughout their life. In terms of carers, the majority of families who are caring for a patient with schizophrenia, one of the main carers gives up work to look after their relative. So there's a loss to the family. There is then a massive cost to society, and that cost is the cost of a hospitalisation. Patients with schizophrenia frequently relapse when they're stressed or don't take their medication, and it costs in the order of £300 a day to be hospitalised. So we've got a huge cost to society.
There are different ways in which a patient's quality of life can be disturbed by schizophrenia. First of all, of course, if you feel threatened or if you feel somebody comments on what you do. Just imagine you get up and somebody talks about what you're doing all the time, or people talk to each other in your mind, commenting or stating what you should do or giving negative comments on what you plan. That can be extremely disturbing. Second point is that these negative symptoms that have a lot to do with the emotional contact to your environment, if they are strong, then it makes life very difficult. You have a certain distance to emotional contact, you have a distance to meeting new people, to emotionally responding to them.
Society is not a very welcoming place at the moment for people with schizophrenia. Something like 2/3 of media coverage of schizophrenia links it to violence, despite the fact that instances of violence and schizophrenia being linked is actually very rare. But perhaps in the area of employment, we see this level of stigma and discrimination at its worst. Something like 80%, over 80% of people with schizophrenia aren't in work. People with all forms of severe mental illness actually have the highest want-to-work rate of any disabled group, and yet have the lowest in-work rate of any disabled group. People can lose touch with reality, but also lose touch with family and friends and work or education, and become very isolated and alone.